Tonight, climate change backlash as activists shut down Australian coal exports.
We're just tired of waiting for politicians to take action, so we're taking action ourselves.
In Australia, climate activists have already begun campaigning for tougher action from the federal government. Today, protesters effectively shut down the world's biggest coal export facility near Newcastle. More than 20 people were arrested after chaining themselves to a coal train. And the Greens have warned that the next federal election will be fought on climate change.
The power of one. A single activist from a local environmental group stopped this fully laden coal train from getting into Newcastle this morning in a protest aimed at world leaders. Soon dozens were on the train and the bridge.
We're disgusted at the government's behaviour at Copenhagen.
A number of protesters have attached themselves to the locomotives. Some have got on a carriage with coal, and other numbers have got onto the bridge over the Hunter River.
Normally 4 to 6 trains an hour travel along this line, carrying coal bound for Japan, Taiwan and South Korea, but not today.
We're just tired of waiting for politicians to take action, so we're taking action ourselves.
Specialist police were called in to break up the protest and arrest those taking part.
Very excessive force for a very good cause.
We've got to remove them safely and appropriately so that people aren't injured.
Police have been dragging away the protesters one by one. The climate activists say this is just the start of a bigger campaign against carbon producers.
They can expect to see much more and much more widespread grassroots non-violent direct actions.
There'll be more political action too, with the Greens seizing on the failure of the Copenhagen summit.
The 2010 federal election is now shaping up as a referendum on climate change.
It seems the final word on climate change is still a long way off. John Thompson, ABC News, Newcastle.
With Green groups promising to ramp up their protests and the major parties at loggerheads, the government will struggle to get its ETS legislation passed.
What they need to do is convince a party other than themselves that it's actually a worthwhile enterprise. They seem to have come up with a scheme that disappoints everybody.
Richard Dennis, an economist with the Australia Institute, says the government needs to postpone its idea of locking in an emissions trading scheme and concentrate on setting a price on pollution.
If the government's serious about moving forward, its own legislation has a fixed carbon price of $10 per tonne in its scheme first year. If the Greens are willing to support that, then you'd only need one Liberal to cross the floor as long as Nick Xenophon is interested in supporting it.
I'll be contacting the Prime Minister once he's had a couple of nights' sleep again from his trip back from Copenhagen to say any time between now and February, this is important work for the nation.